This video is designed to show our clients how to arrange a sequencing order for Hiseq full lane projects. As you can see here on my screen, we do have a new interface which shows different aspects of one's dashboard. So on the left-hand side here, we do have a couple of features that you could see. We have dashboard, my project, send samples, so on and so forth. And you have an overview of the general projects that you may have with us here. This is the test system, so the interface might look a little bit different, but for the most part, this is what you will see. When you are ready to place a sequencing order, you can start off by going to the My Project tab on the left-hand side, going to the Library QC Report tab, and then you can search by using either the project name or the contract number. For this particular example, I'm going to use the contract number. Hit search. And then for the particular batch that you were looking for, you should be able to see a Proceed to Sequencing tab here. When you go ahead and click on it, it's going to ask you if you want to proceed with any other samples outside of this particular batch. If you do want to do that, you would have to go through the Sequencing tab, which you will see at the end of this video. However, if you want to proceed with this particular batch at this time, go ahead and hit Confirm. Once you do that, you will enter this new interface and you will be able to place your sequencing order by just manipulating some of the few fields based on what you want. So at the top left-hand corner here, you will see a sequencing number that is going to be your reference number for this particular order when you do submit it. You will then see a previous step button that will allow you to go back, a add a new lane button, which we will show a little bit later, save my process, continue. And this field here allows you to get a little bit more information as to how to fill this particular part out. So you have a file for filling instructions, exporting and importing back to the system, tips, and a help center. So on this interface here, you see some information based off the samples in your particular project. You see the sample information in regards to the library QC results, the contracted data, the data unit, index, library type, secondary library type, and sequencing run cycle. At the top here, you do see that the data requested is going to be 110. So the total for a Hiseq lane is 110. And the way this works is it's going to show you the amount that you are going to request for this particular lane. So this is lane number 1. If for any reason your contracted data amount here does not add up to at least the 110 and you try to submit, the order will not go through. Here we have a customized primer toggle in which you can add any customized primer that you want by searching for it here on the magnifying glass. If you do not have any, go ahead and click cancel and remove that toggle. Same thing with the Hiseq. If you have any Hiseq that you would like to incorporate into your particular run, go ahead and put this toggle on and list the amount of Hiseq that you want. As you can see, the requested amount is going to increase the output requested based on how much percentage of Hiseq that you actually do want. So you would have to adjust the contracted data to meet at least 110. If you do not have any Hiseq, you can go ahead and remove that toggle. We have some options here, and we have a batch update lane, which we'll show a little bit later how this works. We have another option here that allows you to average the data amount for this particular lane, which we will show a little bit later. This option is to copy this exact information into a new lane, and this option is to delete this information from this lane. So if you wanted to add a new lane, go ahead and click Add a New Lane here, and as you can see when we scroll down, we will have another lane, lane 2, in which you will be able to add any new samples that you have that you wanted to add to that new lane. If not, go ahead and hit cancel, and then you can just delete this lane and hit confirm. If you had a lot of samples that you wanted to edit the information for, but you wanted to do it all at once, you can go ahead and hit the checkbox here to check all of the relevant samples. Hit this option here to do a batch update. And what will happen is the relevant fields that are able to do a batch update, you can submit them here. So let's say you wanted the contracted data to be 40G, the library type to be 10x RNA, secondary library type to be 10x DNA, sequencing run cycle to be this, hit confirm. As you can see, it will update the information for those particular fields for all of the samples that you selected to do the batch update for. If you had an index in here and you wanted to edit it, you can do so by hitting the edit button under that particular sample and typing in the necessary index or modifying it if you already had one. Also here, if you wanted to remove a sample for this particular lane, you can go ahead and just hit the X box here and click confirm. We also have the option of averaging the volume of this particular lane. So as we discussed earlier, the total output for this particular lane is 110 G. If you wanted to have a split amount of data per of these two samples, you can do so by checking these two samples here, hitting the average data, and as you can see, it split that 110 evenly amongst these two samples. So you can do that for any multitude of samples that you have per lane. If you wanted to duplicate this particular lane and have the same type of output, index, so on and so forth for the next lane, you can do so by just hitting this button here and duplicating the lane. And as you can see, the exact same information populated for this new lane. If you wanted to remove a lane again, go ahead and just hit the trash can here and click confirm. Our default base pair length for read 1 and read 2 is 150 base pairs, so that is why you see that there. And if you need demultiplexing, this should be toggled as on. If you do not, go ahead and untoggle it. And finally, if there's any special requirements, go ahead and list them here so that our lab can be aware. Once you have figured out everything that you would like to use for the sequencing order, go ahead and click continue. And it will take you to the editing stage, which will allow you to edit every information that you already submitted here before you hit submit. If the task order was successfully submitted, you will get an email confirmation that looks like this with the sequencing number at the top and in the body of the email. The other way in which you can place a sequencing order on CSS is by going through the sequencing order tab. So I'm going to go to my project here on the left-hand side. I'm going to go to sequencing order here, select add a new sequencing order. Then I'm going to search for my particular project. So I'm going to look for a Hiseq project by searching with the contract number, hit enter. Then that particular project will come up. I'm going to hit confirm. Select the product name, there is only one option, hit confirm, and then it's going to prompt you that you need to fill in all the necessary information before you can continue and hit submit. I'm going to hit I understand. Then it will bring you to the same interface that we just went over by going through the library QC report stage. So here I will be able to add individual samples that I would like to proceed to sequencing with. So I'm going to scroll to the left here and add the particular samples that I like. Let's say I wanted to move forward with these two samples, hit confirm, and then I will be able to fill in the information as previously discussed earlier in this video.